with all of the music that's being made right now, like we've never been able to make music easier.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that more than ever we would need places to come perform songs.
One would assume.
You know? So it's like, it's so wild that like, yeah, this consumer technology is at an all-time high, but the places that we have to perform is at an all-time low. Like, how does that work? I feel like the demand should be higher than ever.
Well, and like you would think, but I think that's kind of as a result of back in the day. I don't know about you, but if I wanted to find other MCs to collab with, if I wanted to find producers to work with, we had to go outside.
Right.
You know what I mean? We didn't have the liberty of social media, and we didn't have prosumer quality audio gear that, or even recording on our damn iPhones and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I think you make a great point. So, because what you're speaking to right now is that you don't need it as much for the networking now, because you can do all that online.
Right.
But yeah, I guess.
In fact, I could do a song with someone from Germany tonight.
Right. Yeah. I mean that. Yeah. I think just as an MC, and I think this goes along with the fact too that like a lot of cats, they'll do shows right now and they're rapping over their own lyrics. They don't really know their own songs a lot of the time. And I know that there's a whole different way to engage with performance where that doesn't really matter so much. But if you look at like the verses with the Locks and Dipset, like, oh, there is something to being an MC and like knowing how to do that. And I think that's kind of what's getting lost. You know
Absolutely. And it's people will say that emceeing isn't necessary or it's antiquated until it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think you know, I've seen a Drake concert. You know what I'm saying? Like I never seen a Jay-Z concert live, but I've seen him perform on video. Like
he rap his ass off.
You know what I'm saying?
He's rapping the whole time.
Wayne, Ross, Cole, like ain't none of these people half-assing it on stage. No. You know, like everybody's even lyrics Drake didn't write.
Yeah.
He tried to perform the shit out of them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's not rapping over the reference. Like, and I think, and I'm sure that in everybody's journey, they, somebody drills that down into them and they rehearse and they get it. But like, I just think it's an important component to all rappers. It's an important thing for you to be able to like control a stage, hold a stage down, get your words across, deliver them to people. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
Breath control live, all of that.
Having to learn, and you know what? I've seen it, and I've seen it for several years, is one of the greatest disservice to up-and-coming artists when they start buzzing. If they have like a record that's resonating and going viral or is a hit record, the powers that be, or whoever they're signed to, is going to thrust them onto a national stage, have them doing tours, have them performing at the Rolling Louds and all that shit. And these people are not seasoned performers, and then they wind up playing themselves out super, super tough. Like an example recently is Ice Spice. I've seen that happen to her, and what's funny is she's actually not whack.
Yeah, she's really interesting.
Yeah,
like I've only heard a couple of songs, and I'm like, oh, there's something happening here, and I haven't dug deep.
There is. There definitely is. It's more, but the way she's being marketed and the way she's being just kind of thrust out there, thrust on a national stage before she has a handle on her creative process. Then you see her struggling to find the beat. You see her, not being having her head wrapped around her cadences and things like that.
And then trained like that.
Yeah,
and you can, and again, it's back to the consumer technology thing where you can have so many reps in the studio now, and have no reps on stage.
Right.
That's rough.
Yeah, all the punch-ins and all that.
Yeah, like you can write a song and record a song that there's literally no way for you to perform on stage because you didn't leave yourself any room to breathe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is kind of like, to me, I'm all about pushing boundaries forward, so it's something different. You know what I mean?
It's hard for me to get into that style where like they punch every line in, and I see the energy of it. Like my son rocks with that stuff,
right?
And I see the energy of it. I see that it is new and different. But like just as a trained rapper, all I can think about is, damn, you playing yourself because you're not gonna be able to do this.
Right.
Like you can't. You've literally not left a moment for you to have a sip of oxygen. Like there's no way you're gonna be able to get through this verse.
And then you also come from the school of rappers like Micah 9, who didn't have a millisecond of oxygen in his damn self.
Right.
But guess what? He can replicate that live to a T flawlessly. I'm not really sure if he's a regular human being. Like he's a superhuman.
He was born to MC, and you add that with his jazz proclivities,
Yeah.
and like he's more of a jazz instrumentalist as a rapper than he is just like a normal, like
he's like a trumpet.
Yeah, it's and it's like an alien playing trumpet. Like it's a whole nother thing that's happening with him, And like the breath control we're talking about is from like his understanding of jazz and like taking that deep breath in the beginning and just metering out the oxygen as the CO2 as necessary to, you know what I'm saying? And the circular breathing, he can do that too, where like he can be exhaling and inhaling at the same time.
Yeah, it's
you know what I'm saying? Like
he's like playing the didgeridoo.
Yeah,
essentially when he raps.
It's nuts.
Having a background being from Chicago and then cutting your teeth in LA as well. It's interesting on so many levels. Now, LA has a lot of different styles, like you said, totally. That's why someone like AD has a fruitful, successful rap career, but never heard of the Blowed. And then you come from there, and it's really interesting. But there's multiple different gangster rap scenes in LA. There's a whole hipster rap scene. There's traditional backpacker in the line of like the Sick Jackins and the what I mean, Psycho Realm, and then even the whole People Under the Stairs contingent and Dilated and all that. There's all these different scenes, and then there's like the hyper lyrical double time cadence Project Blowed stuff. And to me, it was always interesting that Chicago's similar too. You got the whole Chicago. You have the whole hipster Lupe Fiasco.
Very
Chance the Rapper, Vic Mensa movement. You have the whole obviously drill music. You know what I mean. And then you have the Logan Square cypher scene, and then like a kind of a more for lack of a better word, like black version of that, which is in the South Side, kind of evolving from Common and No ID,
Hyde Park and South Shore,
100%. And then of course you got like the West Chicago snipers. That's what they call it, sniping. The same way we call it chopping in LA. The double time cadence,
going back to Crucial Conflict, psychodrama, all of that.
Speed Not Mobsters. What is it about? Like, why are these styles prevalent in LA? What is it about the double time style that makes it popular in LA and Chicago? Now, the only other places I feel like that really were the origins of that style, you could obviously look to like certain rappers from New York from back in the day flipping it. But to me, it was Memphis, the Bay Area, LA, and Chicago. And really, like, I want to say Chicago and LA are like the epicenters of that style.
I think you nailed it. And honestly, I can't say I understand why the West Side of Chicago and South LA came up with the same rap style like that. Like, I think about that a lot. And you talk to the OGs, like you talk to LA Cool, like he talks about it too, how, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a certain kinship, and honestly, I don't even know how. I don't even know how.
Yo, we just hit 400,000 subscribers right here on the Clips channel. So if you want to help us out, click subscribe, get us to 500K. Yeah.